All right, so now that we have the foundation laid, which is the recording, which is the performance, we're gonna move into one of the next most important aspects of dialing a great mix. And that's gonna be active listening. Now you're gonna see that I'm outdoors. That is by design, and that's because being outdoors allows you to really get back into the primal sense of what it means to actively listen. Sure, I love the studio monitors. Sure, I love a quality pair of headphones. Sure, I love rocking out to all the different music that I have. But we've only had studios for a little over a century, maybe. But we've been one with nature since the inception of humankind. Most people's biggest mistake when they're approaching mixing for the first time, or even for a number of years, is when we sit down with the mix, we're trying to make it adjust according to how we sense it, and we're making actions, taking actions without really consciously reflecting on what direction is it that the music really wants to go. And this is fundamental, like this is huge. This will shift your mixing from 0 to 100 if you really keen in and listen to where the music wants to go. And this comes down to the concept of yin within audio mixing. So what is yin? You're probably familiar with yin and yang energy, and that's akin to the feminine and the masculine principle, or the receptive and the projective aspects of our mind. So yin is where active listening comes into play, your ability to receive, or your state of being receptive. Firstly, you can start by sitting out in nature, sit out in your backyard, go to a local park. It's okay if you have industrial sounds, cars, people chatting around you, that's perfectly fine. It'll help you with your practice. I want you to sit down and just close your eyes and take in the sounds around you and just begin noticing them. Don't judge them, don't label them, just listen to them as they are, as if you were listening to music in your AirPods. Maybe you've got a bird off to your left, maybe you've got a car or a train or something moving off in the background, and just notice it move left to right, up to down, back to front, and just get really accustomed to just listening without framing, without wanting to make it go in a certain direction, without how it should be. Just accept the sound as it is. This is going to carry over into whenever you sit down to do a mix session. Anytime I've got artists sending me music, whether it's for review or maybe it's just for a mix they want to see about having me dial for them, the first thing I do is I listen to the reference mix that they sent, or I just pull the audio tracks and the instrumental into my Logic Pro session and I let it play, and I don't touch a thing. And I really try to get a sense of, how do these elements come together? Which ways do they complement one another? Because that's really gonna give me the in. That's gonna give me the area where I can begin to go in and sculpt out and carve out the beauty that already exists within the instrumental, or already exists within the vocal. So that is your reflective state. You're gonna start off sitting within that. Now, as you listen to the music through and through, you can either make a mental note, or you can actually bust out your phone or a pad and a pen and begin noting the things that you know that can use some adjusting. So I'd recommend maybe going through the first time, listening to the audio just as is, no judgment, no assessment. The second time, listening through from start to finish, making note of what it is that you want to change. That's essentially starting to introduce the yang of it, or the masculine principle, or the projective action-taking principle, the force. So you'll start off in the yin, then you'll move over into a little bit more of yang. So you're kind of flowing between both. You're assessing, you're listening, and you're starting to make mental orchestration of, this is how things can be. This is how things can be adjusted. Once you've consciously written down this solid list of all the changes you're going to implement, then you're ready to switch into straight yang mode, but you're always going to keep a little yin in there, right? So you're going to begin taking action, and that'll come in the form of EQ, that'll come in the form of compression, that'll come in form of everything that we're going to be covering in this series. So in the next video, we'll be moving over into equalization. I'm going to show you exactly how these approaches can be applied when you're mixing. It'd be a great habit for you to get into, early mornings, maybe late evenings, midday, if it needs to be, to get outside and to practice what we went over, and just sitting with the sound and getting used to just listening, being in the yin state, being in the receptive state. This is not only going to help you in your mixing, but this will ultimately help you in your mindset, in your life. So put it to practice. See you in the next video.
Want to get even more out of your mixing journey? Discover tailored mentorship, proven plug-and-play presets, and build mindset for continual growth long after our sessions. Book your free call today and elevate your sound with Vocal Mix Express.